Overseas, Pope Francis made an emotional and historic trip to Auschwitz. He became the third pope to walk through the former Nazi concentration camp in Poland. He embraced silence. Before he visited, he emphasized that no word can describe the horrific acts that happened during World War II. Seth Doane has more.
The Pope walked alone through that infamous gate at Auschwitz, his white vestments a sharp contrast to the fences and barbed wire of this place. For nearly 15 minutes, he sat in silent prayer. The pontiff then prayed again in the blackened prison cell where Catholic Saint Maximilian Kolbe volunteered his life to save another. At nearby Birkenau, survivors, including 90-year-old Marian Tursky, gathered to watch the Pope.
You're Jewish, she's a Christian leader.
So what? But we both are human beings. The Holocaust was not only a Jewish tragedy, it was a European tragedy. The tragedy of mankind.
This is not the first time a pope has traveled here to Auschwitz. Pope John Paul II came, as did Pope Benedict. Pope Francis decided instead of making some major speech here, he would instead remain silent.
There's a Latin proverb, qui tacet clamat. It is who is silent, he cries, he shouts, he screams. Silence displays even stronger than words.
Well, CBS News foreign correspondent Seth Doane is traveling with the Pope. He joins us now from Krakow, Poland. Seth, it's so interesting that Pope Francis remained silent the entire time when he talked and he prayed with the survivors. What's been the reaction to this?
Well, the reaction, Rena, has really been quite positive. People saying, survivors telling us that this is a place where so much can be said, so much has been said, so much should be said, that in many ways saying nothing speaks volumes. We were going through these camps in the last couple of days with different Catholic youth groups and trying to get a sense for how people were kind of living this experience, what they were taking away from it. And they were saying that they felt as though they were really walking through other people's shoes. And we asked one Holocaust survivor, what should these Catholic youth groups here as part of World Youth Day, what should they take away from this? And he said, I think that they should take away some sort of empathy, some sort of compassion in visiting a place like Auschwitz, with the hope that something like this won't happen again.
You actually, Seth, got to visit the concentration camp with a group of Catholic pilgrims. I'm curious, what was that like?
It was really remarkable. What is so surprising, we all read about these camps and the stories there are unimaginable, but then you go, and in particular, well, really at both camps, it's the scale that is so unimaginable. Even as they have the German army retreating had knocked down some of these, in particular the places where people were killed, but knocked down a number of parts of the camp. But still, you can see the foundations, and it's the scale that is so remarkable. And we spoke with these different Catholic youth groups going through there, and they said, I feel like we're walking through another religion's shoes, walking in another religion's shoes, other people's shoes, trying to understand this unimaginable part of history.
And you mentioned you're there for, the Pope is actually there for World Youth Day in Krakow. What's been the atmosphere like?
For the most part, quite joyous. This was by far the most somber day of the Pope's trip. You might be able to see people walking behind me. It's been raining, so some are wearing colorful ponchos and such. But you can think of this as almost a Woodstock for Catholics. It is a pilgrimage. The numbers the Catholic Church is using, the Vatican is saying upwards of 1.8 million people from around the world, pilgrims from around the world, have traveled here or are here to take part. There's singing, there's dancing, there's conversation about issues that the Catholic Church faces, and the Pope is here really to encourage that next generation. He says the youth is the future of the Catholic Church. And Rena, they're here at a very interesting point. In particular, the Pope is here at an interesting point because you've seen the Pope be so supportive of migrants coming here to Europe. Even he brought some migrants back from Greece to the Vatican to Rome. And here, the politics of the situation, the government here in Poland has really been opposed to Angela Merkel and EU quotas to bring to bring more migrants to Poland. So you have a real rift in the Catholic Church here. You have the Catholic bishops split. Some are supporting the Pope, who says bring these refugees in. Some are supporting the government, and the Pope had a closed-door meeting to try to push some of those Catholic bishops a little bit more his way. So it is great celebration and a festive atmosphere, but also some serious issues that are on the table here.
Our Seth Doane traveling with the Pope. Seth, thank you for that report.